'cause it's Bison time.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside the Fargo Dome for Missouri Valley Conference football here on the KBLY KFYR Bison Network. Brian, Sean, Lee Timmerman with you for the 105th meeting between North Dakota State and South Dakota State, and the Dakota marker is also on the line, and really a matchup that North Dakota State has dominated in recent years. They've won the last 8 meetings between these two schools, LT, and offensively, we saw last week North Dakota State completely take control in the second half. But Tim Polasek, the offensive coordinator, would like to see his offense get off to a quicker start this week.
And one of the ways that Coach Polasek is probably going to do that is by script less plays, meaning he's going to go into that first drive or so not going, okay, check this, check this, check this. He wants to have the flexibility to react a little bit more to what South Dakota State does. That's a little bit different for Tim.
We're so used to seeing South Dakota State offensively ride their running back in their offensive line, Zach Zenner, over the years. This year, they're throwing it twice as much as they're running it with Taryn Christian, but they're doing it very effectively.
I thought Coach Stiglmeyer said one thing this week when I was listening. It just cracked me up because if you know Stig, he's a defensive guy. He likes hard-nosed football, and he said the term shootout should never be used when talking about college football, but his team has had to go the shootout route.
Yeah, averaging 45 points a game and giving up 36. Beth Houle on the sidelines with us today has a report. Beth.
Hey guys, it's a new era of Jackrabbits football at South Dakota State. They're throwing the ball way more than they ever have. So what's that mean for NDSU's defense? They're going to need to step up and defend. SDSU threatening with a wide receiver and a tight end that can hang with the best of them in college football. NDSU will have to rise to the occasion and continue to dominate where they always have, removing that threat that SDSU will likely try to bring with their rush attack, as Taryn Christian will likely be looking to move this week as quarterback like he hasn't before for South Dakota State this season. NDSU's offense is going to continue to try and spread the ball and do their best to play their brand of football and not let anything SDSU is doing affect them.
Beth, thanks so much. North Dakota State will kick as Cam Peterson gets set to put the toe to it. Brady Mangarelli back deep for South Dakota State, along with Mikey Daniel. The 105th meeting between North Dakota State and South Dakota State is underway on this Peterson Farm Seed kickoff taken by Daniel at the 3. Daniel finding a crease and then finally tripped up at about the 24-yard line. Chase Morlock, I believe, got in there to make the tackle. Morlock leading the team on the field in a very nice gesture after losing his father this last week. Here's a look at the starting defense for North Dakota State. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Nate Tangway, McWanago, Wisconsin.
Aaron Seidel, Carlos, Minnesota.
Greg Menard, Lakeville, Minnesota.
MJ Stumpf, Harvey, North Dakota.
Matt Plank, Gardner, Kansas.
Pierre G. Tucker, Belleville, Illinois.
Jalen Wimbush, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Robbie Grimsley, Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Trey Dempsey, Lakeland, Florida.
Jalen Allison, Papillion, Nebraska.
Jake Harms was called for the hold on the return, so that backs the Jacks up all the way to the 14-yard line.
Well, just to illustrate how different South Dakota State's offensive approach is this year compared to years gone by, on first downs this year, the Jacks are passing 90% of the time. That's unusual, but get used to it. It's what they have this year.
Well, they come out in a heavy formation, just one receiver in the formation here on 1st and 10. Taryn Christian will throw downfield for Goddard. First play, and he could not haul it in. Had Matt Plank in on coverage, and he almost tipped it in for a big play there for Jake.
That might be the first one-handed catch opportunity from what I've seen of Goddard this year that he didn't catch. He makes these catches all the time.
South Dakota State offense. Lineup brought to you by Shields, and Christian having a phenomenal start to the season. 20 touchdowns, just 1 interception. 18 of those touchdowns have gone to either Dallas Goedert or Jake Wenicky. The offensive line pieced together right now, LT.
One of the things I thought was interesting about that first play, Brian, was that both Wenicky and Goddard ended up on the same side of the field. That has not been the case most of the year for SDSU.
Christian will throw, flares it out, and overshot Mengarelli, incomplete, will bring up 3rd and 10.
Well, that throw just looked a little bit tight from Taryn. We've talked about it before the game and all week, how well number 3 has been able to put the ball where he wants it. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Christian just looking out into the flat and overshoots his guy. Mengarelli had a really long play 2 weeks ago against Western, I believe, on a play similar to that. But 3rd and long, something the Bison love, something the Jacksons want to avoid.
3rd and long, 3 receivers to the high side of your screen. Christian's going to run with it. And Taryn Christian has room. A first down all the way to the 32 before he's pushed out by Trey Dempsey.
South Dakota State had the right call, and Christian, I think, is getting up a little slow. Here he comes. Now Christian has had ankle issues. His right ankle has been the problem this year, and you see him hobbling. As a as a senior in high school, he broke his ankle and lower leg really bad his senior year. But this was the right play call because Grimsley was up trying to jam Goddard. Goddard takes care of him, and now it's just quarterback on safety. And as we know, you run out of room fast here on the sidelines in the Fargo Dome.
So in comes Zach Lujan, who has plenty of experience, was a starter really for the first part of last year until he got beat up so bad against North Dakota State. That's when they pulled the red shirt off Taryn Christian.
That's not to say Lujan hasn't played so far this year. He's played in situations like this where Christian had hurt that ankle a little bit, and then he came right back in.
Mengarelli gets the call, and he is met right in the hole. Gain of 2. MJ Stump comes up to make the tackle.
Well, when you ask Coach Entz, the defensive coordinator for NDSU, give me a player or two you think's going to have a big game today. Well, he said someone on the defensive line. I'm not going to pinpoint that as we look at Steidel, but he also said the name of MJ Stump. Stump has played so well. He was solid again last week down in Springfield, and here in on this tackle.
Stump, the second leading tackler behind Robbie Grimsley on this Bison defense. 2nd and 8 coming up. Little shovel out to Mengarelli, nowhere to go, and he's dropped for a loss of 1. Matt Plank made the tackle, but MJ Stump again forced him back inside.
Yeah, you couldn't clear neither linebacker. You're counting on Mengarelli to be able to make the first guy miss. Well, when there's 2 guys there who are linebackers, that guy was one of them, number 41, MJ Stump.
And they continue to look at Christian on the sideline, and that could be a huge storyline in this game, as a guy that is throwing for 327 yards a game is on the bench with an ankle injury.
Eye-popping numbers. That's the only way to describe what Christian's done so far.
Mengarelli gets the call on 3rd down, and he has another first down across the 45 to the 47, and the Jacks have found a way to convert a couple of really long 3rd down conversions on this opening drive.
Well, 3rd down has been a major issue in this series for the team out there in white right now. I believe in the last 8 games, which the Bison have all won, the Jacks have been 25% on 3rd down. So far, so good, both on runs. Christian with the first one, Mengarelli with the second. Now Taryn's back in.
And here comes Christian back into the ball game here as Isaac Wallace checks in at tailback. Another quarterback design run. After hurting the ankle, Christian takes off with it to the 40. And excuse me, that was Mikey Daniel in at tailback, not Wallace. But the quarterback draw working well here on this opening drive. Christian, another first down.
Well, coming into his playing time, and even last year, Taryn Christian was known as a guy who was probably a better runner than passer. Well, that's not been the case this year, and a lot of that's by design. The Jacks don't want him to run. And when he does run, get down. He's starting to slide. He did a real good job there to pick up another first down.
Two tight ends now in here as Vovoda in with Dallas Goedert split to the high side of your screen.
One-on-one with Goedert on the high side. That's very tough.
And Goedert makes the reception inside the 30. Another first down to the 28. Robbie Grimsley in on that tackle.
Now that's what the Jacks have done a lot. They take Goedert, put him wide on one side, Winicky, put him wide on the other, and say, okay, safeties, go ahead and pick your poison.
Here's your quarterback comparison brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. And for Christian, boy, the number's pretty staggering. 5 touchdown passes last week, 5 touchdown passes the week before against Western Illinois.
466 of those yards, a school record against SIU last week.
Christian play action. Dumps it off. Reception made by Marquise Lewis, just his 6th reception of the season. Picks up about 5 yards to the 23.
Lewis, a redshirt freshman out of Omaha. And those types of plays against NDSU you would have to think are going to be open because you have to worry so hard about Winicky and Goedert deep. See where Robbie Grimsley is in? There, usually he's just hammering down so hard on a little play or if he sees Reed's run, but he has to play back, be the deep safety because he was on Winicky's side.
Well, a good start here for South Dakota State. Christian, quarterback draw again. This time he tries to get outside and gets to the 20, and here comes the flag, and that may go on Isaac Wallace for a hold on Jalen Wimbush.
Now, that was the point of attack play. Wallace trying to block Wimbush. The play, I think, was designed to be inside the tackle, but Christian bounced it outside.
Holding, offense, number 35. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Second down.
Yeah, you called that one right, Brian. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. It's right in front of you. See that jersey tug? Yeah, that's an easy call for an official.
So that will take a positive play away and then drop the Jacks back all the way to their own 30.
You might get away with that first initial grab, but if you stay with it and the official's able to watch that play from the beginning all the way through its conclusion, yeah, you're going to get the flag.
Play action again. Christian dumps it off to Goedert. And Goedert rumbles ahead. Taken down by Pierre G. Tucker after a gain of 7.
That's an excellent play right there by Tucker, 47, because he was engaged immediately with a wide receiver. I think it was Anderson trying to block him. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Yes, it was Anderson that Tucker just kept on. He kept his outside free, his outside hip, outside shoulder. He kept that free and made the play.
So here we go again. 3rd down for South Dakota State. Christian drops it off. Oh, what a catch by Winicky. And he is inside the 5-yard line as he went back to get that football, and the Jackson business with a 1st and goal.
When talking with Coach Entz about Goedert and Winicky this week, he meaning Matt, came up with a term I thought described both of these kids beautifully. He said they have huge catch radius. You don't have to throw the ball perfectly for those guys to catch it. And Winicky, it's both hands on that ball. And this is just a perfect example of what Coach Entz was talking about and what Coach Entz is worried about.
This Jackrabbit drive started back at their own 13. Now 1st and goal at the 3. Christian, fade pattern. Winicky on a different page.
No, he didn't know it was coming. Yeah, Winicky was out there trying to block on the play, and Christian threw the fade to the back corner. Well, you talk about all the issues that South Dakota State has on 3rd down against NDSU, but why are they on the 3-yard line right now? 3rd down pickups.
3 for 3 so far here this afternoon. 2 of those were double-digit yardage that they had to pick up to get. Inside handoff. Wallace stays on his feet. And he is down at the 1-yard line, and that will bring up 3rd and goal.
Well, we're back to 3rd down again. But Isaac Wallace, I tell you, Brian, he gets about 3 more yards on this than I thought he would. Tucker was one of the guys that hit him, and then you see it. Dan Marlette in there to try to help on the end, but he did a really good job to get his team down inside the 2.
Jacks will continue to operate out of the shotgun here on 3rd and goal from the 1. Flipped up to Wenicky for the corner, and I think he's short. Down to about the half-yard line, and now decision time for John Stiegelmeier.
The Jacks last week scored their first touchdown on a jet sweep to Goddard. Here it's a similar looking play to Wenicky. Trey Dempsey comes up hard out of his safety position and ruled short. Might have to look at this one.
His forearm went down before he extended.
Please set the game clock to 8:15.
Yeah, he's down.
The clock stops for a helmet off on the defense. The clock will start at my ready. It's 4th down.
Offense still on the field here for South Dakota State. The Jacks going to try to push this one in from a half-yard away on 4th and goal. This opening drive has taken almost 7 minutes.
Coach Stiegelmeier has talked a lot over the years how difficult it is to come up here and play well, and when you get this close, he's going for it.
Christian's going to keep it, looking to throw back, end zone, batted away, incomplete. Goddard, the intended target, and North Dakota State stiffens.
Well-designed play, just overthrown. When Christian has erred this year, Brian, more often than not, it's because he's thrown the ball high. He saw the early miss in this drive. Here you throw back against the grain, incomplete. As good as Goddard is at making adjustments in the air, even if he makes the adjustment and catches this thing, I don't know if he comes down with it inbounds anyway.
Well, the bad news is South Dakota State comes away with 0 points for the Jacks, but the good news is the Bison are backed up to their own half-yard line on offense.
Look at how tight those splits are by the offensive linemen.
And Easton Stick is just going to try to get some breathing room at him out to about the 1 yard line, and maybe the 2, that's it. And Stick did get to the 2.
Easton Stick, Omaha, Nebraska.
Colin Connor, Mineral Point, Wisconsin. Zach Johnson, Apple Valley, Minnesota.
Austin Cooter, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Jack Plankers, Leonard, North Dakota.
Landon Leckler, Beach, North Dakota.
Connor Wentz, Pinellas, Florida.
Chase Morlock, Moorhead, Minnesota.
Ian Frazier, Kansas City, Missouri. RJ Erzengowski, Omaha, Nebraska.
Darius Shepard, Blue Springs, Missouri.
And King Frazier on an 8-yard gain out to the 9-yard line will bring up 3rd and short. That starting lineup brought to you by Shields for the North Dakota State offense.
Boy, that breathing room that the Bison so wanted, Frazier helped provide right there. Again, you go back to the way King is finishing runs. His yards after contact this year have been awesome. He's only had -5, I think, or 4 or 5 yards in rushing this year.
Back to the ground game on 3rd and short. He needed the 1 yard line, and he got there. Frazier picks up the first down to the 11-yard line. Here's a look at the starting defensive lineup for South Dakota State, brought to you by Shields. Then beat up a little bit in a number of different positions. A little bit of an experience, certainly at the corner position, but they really rely on Cole Langer and Kellen Solik up front to try to maintain their gaps and control things up front.
Yeah, those 2 defensive tackles probably the key to the defense. Roseboom last week had 20 tackles. That's because the Jacks defense was on the field for 94 plays.
Back to the ground game again. And a little bit of a push there for Lance Dunn, who gets up to the 15. We talked about Roseman. We're so used to seeing TJ Lally in that spot for the last 4 years. That's been his spot, and Roseman certainly doesn't have the size of Lally, but a guy that's coming as a redshirt freshman done a pretty nice job for the Jacks.
Yeah, but Lally, and especially in these marker games has been phenomenal. Didn't he have 20-some tackles or close to it last year? Maybe that was a couple years ago, last time they were here. But yeah, Lally all over the place.
Quarterback draw for Easton Stick, and Easton almost broke free. He's got a first down up to the 25-yard line.
Coach Polisic made a comment in our meeting when we talked with him this week just about the importance of the quarterback run. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. As we look at this, I'll tell you that Coach said, I do not think that you can win in this conference without a running quarterback. And against South Dakota State especially, think of the big games that Jensen had. Think of Carson Wentz with a long run, especially last year. So quarterback run is always a part of the game plan when the Bison played the Jacks.
Stick will throw, drops it off to Darius Shepard, and Shepard lost the ball out of bounds, but should be okay there up to the 31-yard line. Anthony Washington in on the coverage for South Dakota State.
Yeah, it certainly was a catch, and it certainly was a fumble. Might have gained an extra yard out of it. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Little soft corner. So Stick just punches out to his left, and that's Washington getting the ball loose. Now, the corners actually were, coming into the year, thought to be a question mark for South Dakota State, but these two young kids have played fairly well, Brown and Washington.
Stick again to the outside, around Roseboom, and here goes Easton Stick. Still on his feet, across midfield, and in comes a flag, and this might be coming back.
It's a clip on the outside. But Chase Morlock threw a tremendous block on the edge to get Stick out in front, and then I don't remember who the wideout on the top side was, but that was an easy call. It's a clip.
Referee today, Chris LeMange from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Had a chance to catch up with Chris a little bit before the game, and of course he was here for that marathon of a football game between Eastern Washington and the Bison.
Well, we have 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense, number 16. That foul will be marked 10 yards from the spot. After the play, dead ball. Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, number 42. That penalty will also be enforced 15 yards. It is first down.
So North Dakota State will have it about where Stick went out of bounds when this is all said and done, maybe a couple of yards short as Nick Mears picks up the personal foul.
From where the penalty marker was, Bison gained 5 yards from that spot.
So we've seen both teams go to the quarterback run game here on their opening drives, LT.
Well, I'm not surprised at all that NDSU did it. I'm a little surprised that the Jacks did it as much as they did with Christian in that opening drive.
Bruce Anderson split out. Stick will fire and caught. Good gain on the play there for Urzendowski.
I think it was Landon Leckler, the right tackle. It might have been Flankers on the right side. No doubt, yep, it's Leckler, 78. Look at that nice cut block. He opens up the passing angle so Stick has nobody in his way to get an easy throw out to the right. Nice job, 78 Landon Leckler.
Had a chance to catch up with Landon a little bit yesterday. Said, hey, 22 guys are fighting for that A-gap. If you're late to the party, you're left out in the cold.
That's a good line. Landon, the senior from Beach.
Inside handoff, boy, Frazier finishing that run inside the 40 to the 38. A little bit of John afterwards with Nick Farina. Let's take a look at this quarterback comparison brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. Easton Stick, probably not his best game last week, but overall,
he was
very
really
consistent.
He was inconsistent last week. And Easton would be the first one to tell you that. He missed some guys. I mean, the Bison ended up winning, relatively comfortably on the scoreboard, but as we said last week, that thing could have been in the 40s pretty easy in terms of points.
Jeff Ilias, the motion man. Straight drop. Eluding the rush, and now he's going to take off with it, and Stick down to the 30-yard line. Gains 8.
Well, Stick makes his initial reads, and they were covered fairly well, but the thing he didn't see was a linebacker in the middle. And when you see that center opened up, the center of the field, then you know as a quarterback that there are yards to be had if you can get by the line of scrimmage. Really nice job by Stick.
Jesse Bobbitt came up to finally make the tackle there for South Dakota State, and the Bison have moved this thing about 70 yards from where they first had it at their own 1. Boy, another huge hole in the A-gap there. Roseboom makes the tackle on King Frazier, but King enough for a first down to the 25.
Yeah, just real solid power football. 12 personnel, meaning 1 running back, 2 tight ends. Just line up, put a helmet on a helmet, and that is a battle the Bison believe with their offensive line they are going to win today.
Boy, this first quarter is flying by. Under 2 minutes to go already here in the opening frame. Stick to throw on the slant, and that one is batted away. Nice job defensively by Blake Witzel, the sophomore from Broomfield, Colorado.
Well, the Bison have been able to get some things done on the ground, and one of the key areas of this, Brian, we talked about it a little bit, the 2 defensive tackles, Langer and Solik, for SDSU against those interior 3, the guards and the center, and that is a position we thought we would watch today and need to watch today, and so far it's played out fairly well as an advantage for NDSU.
Caleb Butler, backup defensive lineman and at fullback. Back to the power game. Frazier carried 1 tackler to about the 21, and now the pile pushes ahead back to about the 20. 3rd and 6 coming up, and North Dakota State will try to convert and keep this drive alive, and this is a down that South Dakota State has really struggled on, LT, this year.
They have. It's a 50% for the opponents, and when you're 50-50 on 3rd down, that means your defense is staying on the field a bunch. But I think you just go back, you mentioned Caleb Butler. We probably didn't talk about him enough last week, going from defensive line to fullback, helping out in that fullback situation. But there, Butler made a very nice block on that particular 2nd down play, so he's doing double duty again.
I think a timeout called by South Dakota State as John Stiegelmeier didn't like something he saw.
South Dakota State, their first timeout of the half.
We'll take a quick break and be back with the final minute of the first quarter after this. Back at the Fargo Dome, Gate City Bank Field, in a rapidly moving first quarter. 3rd and 6 coming up for North Dakota State. This drive started at their own 1.
Each team's only had the ball once this quarter.
Play action. Wide open receiver, and it's caught by Nate Jensen inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line.
Well, Brian, one of the things that the Bison coaches thought they would have success with today is something that happens on this play. See the false movement? Clankers, running backs, everybody goes to the left. Well, that's a key read for South Dakota State's defense. They go to their right. It opens up back to the defense's left. Easy little pitch and catch and a first down. Well-designed play. False reads. They're trying to influence South Dakota State's defense into thinking something else is happening when you're doing the opposite. Well done.
Stick operating out of the shotgun here on 1st and goal. Inside handoff to Dunn, following his blocks. Finally stood up and pushed back by Harms at the 3.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. NDSU's getting some good stuff done up the middle. Multiple tacklers to try to bring down Dunn, and tackling is the #1 thing that South Dakota State has struggled with this year.
This drive started back at their own 1, and now it's 2nd and goal at the Jackrabbit 4. We'll be back with the second quarter after this. It's 0s on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Easton Stick and the Bison offense have methodically moved the football down the field from their own 1 to the Jackrabbit 4 after the Bison defense came up with a big stop. Can the Jackrabbits stiffen in their own red zone? Frazier tiptoes and then taken down at about the 1-yard line. And again, the safety coming in by Chris Bolster to make the stop there for South Dakota State. This game brought to you in crystal clear high definition by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs.
One of South Dakota State's core defensive principles on the defensive line is it's not a line, especially in the interior, that busts upfield. They try to read and react. That's one of the reasons you're not seeing the Jacks penetrate those gaps. They're trying to read, and the Bison are taking advantage of it.
Frazier ahead. Did he get across?
Thought so.
Oh boy, they have him marked down at literally the 1-inch line.
Frazier's thinking, I thought I was in the end zone. He put his 2 hands up there and it's like, nope, Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Big old scrum in the middle. Jeff Ilias trying to lead the way.
Injury timeout.
Somebody down there for South Dakota State, one of the interior linemen. So the Jackrabbits out to look at him.
I think, is that Langer? I'm trying to see if Langer is up, and he's not.
As they look at him, we'll step aside and take a timeout. North Dakota State right now 4th and goal at the half-inch line. Back at the Fargo Dome, Gate City Bank Field, 4th and goal. You can see how far the Bison have to go to get the first touchdown of the game. Stick will keep it, lunges ahead. Now he pops out of the pile, touchdown!
Jacks do a pretty good job inside the A gap, and then Stick just keeps his feet moving until he sees the outsides open. And if you're South Dakota State, you must sell out that hard in the A gaps. And if this happens, it just happens. And Stick was able to waltz in after first being denied. Both teams go for it on 4th and goal. The Bison produce.
A 99-yard drive for North Dakota State that took almost 8 minutes. And it's 7-0. North Dakota State on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard.
Media timeout.
Back at the Fargo Dome, 7-0 North Dakota State. Here's a look at your new seed fan cam. Always a fun matchup between the Jacks and the Bison. Sold out crowd here at the Fargo Dome once again.
Well, before the kickoff, Brian, we should let everyone know that that was Blake Witzel who needed to be helped off the field. He did not put any pressure on his right leg.
He was laying down on the training table. Boy, hard to believe that he would come back just based on what we saw there as he left the turf. Mikey Daniel, Brady Mangarelli back deep once again for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. This one angled towards the corner, and Daniel will take it from his own 4. Daniel to the seam, and he is hit hard, and then finally dropped at the 17-yard line.
It was Plank, I think. Yep, 44, Matt Plank, first one in there. That's one thing.
Here's a look at the Bobcats game recap. Look at that, 18 plays, 99 yards, 9 minutes, ending with a Easton Stick 1-yard touchdown run on 4th and goal.
But special teams is always a point of emphasis at NDSU. And if you've watched, over the course of the last, 10 years we've been doing games, you see a lot of starters in on special teams. That's how important it is for NDSU. Blank making that last tackle.
South Dakota State drove 86.5 yards on their opening drive, but came up short with no points. Now they start from their own 18. Christian will throw, flush from the pocket. Now he might run, floats it across the middle. What a catch! And again, it's Wenicky hauling it in at the Bison 44.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, you're almost not surprised anymore when he does stuff like this because you've seen it so many times over and over and over again, dragging that foot just in case. But Wenicky with the one-handed grab, he didn't receive any Division I offers, and if the Gophers would have offered him a preferred or just a walk-on spot, he probably would have went to Minnesota. they didn't offer him. The Jacks got one of the best receivers in the country.
Christian on the draw. That time he stopped by Brad Ambrosius for a loss of 1. Wenicky, a 38-yard reception that time, and Jake off to a pretty strong start with 2 catches for 58 yards.
Ambrosius has 3 sacks so far this year, but this is not a sack. It's definitely a designed run. Both guards pull out in front, kind of a quarterback power play, and it was blown up from where it started. Christian reverses, so it's really important to keep the cup. That's what Ambrosius did. He did not allow Taryn to get outside to the wide side of the field.
Christian to throw again. And this one over the head of his intended target. And again, it didn't seem like Christian and Wenicky on the same page. And that one way over Wenicky's head.
Well, not knowing the offense well enough to understand if this is where both the quarterback and receiver make a read, Wenicky goes, well, I'm open at 8 yards, so I'll stop here. And Christian throws it to the 14-yard depth, or if Christian just airmailed it. Again, that's what his issue has been. When he's missed high a bunch this year.
Bison showing pressure. Christian going to run with it again, and Taryn Christian has a first down to the 32. And the quarterback running game continuing to pay dividends here for South Dakota State. Robbie Grimsley, the tackle.
Well, for the first month of the season, it was don't run, and if you run, slide. This time, Christian was able to get his shoulder down and pick up that first down. That's why he didn't slide.
So Jackrabbits keep the chains moving, and now they will move everybody out and spread things out here on first down. Christian to throw again, and he's going to run again. Got a nice block up the middle and then slides down at the 22. Good enough for another first down. Beth Houle on the sidelines with us today has a sideline report. Beth.
Hey guys, that's right. Talking to the SDSU sideline, Blake Witzel with a knee injury. His return is questionable today.
All right, thanks so much, Beth. And yeah, it certainly did not look good on our end as he went off.
Kane Lusher, by the way, Brian, when you said got a nice block, he was the one who threw that block, the fullback, number 41. When you spread out that wide, it is a really good quarterback run situation, and that's what the Jacks have done well so far.
Mangarelli in motion, and Christian's going to run again. And Taryn Christian taken down at the 15-yard line, gained 7 more yards. And Taryn Christian already with 7 carries today in the running game.
I didn't see it coming. We weren't told to look for it because it hasn't been a big part of the Jacks offense so far this year. But always keep in mind that when NDSU and SDSU play each other, the coordinators hold things back and don't show the other team on tape until it's game day here. Quarterback run is certainly one of the things that the Jacks have held back this year.
Mangarelli. Taryn stumbles that time and taken down for no gain.
That's Steidel. Last week, if you were watching from Missouri State, Aaron Steidel picked up that one fumble. And after the game, Steidel says, I was running to daylight, but I knew I wasn't going to get there.
Steidel from just down the road in Carlos, Minnesota, and another big third down coming up for South Dakota State. They have found a way to keep the chains moving. 4 of 5 so far here in the first half. Wenicky Daniels, the setback.
Wenicky's in the slot this time to the right.
Christian trying to pick his way, and Taryn Christian taken down by Matt Plank. Short of a first down, will bring up 4th and 2.
You got to kick it this time. Bring in Vinatieri and give him an opportunity to get some points on the board. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Again, a designed quarterback run with a blocker in front of him, a lead, a running back with the lead. Christian also holds. Vinatieri, the nephew of a former Jack, who's going to go in the NFL Hall of Fame someday, Adam Vinatieri.
Exactly right. He is 0 of 2 from 40 plus. He has not missed inside 40. And this play is whistled dead before he got it off.
Coach Kleiman took a timeout.
Timeout, South Dakota State.
By the way, right?
Their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So Vinatieri will come on from 31 yards, and again, just a redshirt freshman.
But if you look at Christian just walking back to the sideline, he's got a little bit of hobble in his step, so I don't think his ankle's
This will be a
giving him 100%.
timeout. 1 minute timeout.
Again, this game brought to you in high definition by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs. It's kind of hard to believe this is just the third possession of the football game. We're almost, you know, two-thirds of the way.
Yeah, the first half. Coach Stegelmeyer, I like Stig. I don't know him real well, but I really like him. He's a good guy. He's a small-town South Dakota guy from Selby. Went to South Dakota State, did not play football in college.
Was actually on staff at Wisconsin with former NDSU head coach Craig Bohl for a while. Those two know each other a long time.
And worked his way up on the defensive side. He was the D coordinator, I believe, before becoming the head coach. First all-time in wins in Jackrabbit football coaching history. His 20th year at South Dakota State.
Meanwhile, that guy has got a pretty good win percentage so far.
He's racking them up fast. What's the percentage when you played 35 games and won 32 of them?
So 4th down, and here comes the offense back on the field for South Dakota State. 4th and 2.
Well, that's why Stig calls the timeout, because he's gambling today.
Lauscher and Goddard now to the top side of the formation here on 4th and goal. 4th and 2. Christian going to keep it. Taryn lunges across for a first down to the 11.
He had to be physical on the back end of that run. Took a pretty good shot to get that first down. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
Plank kind of had him stopped short, but Taryn Christian able to bounce off of him.
Couldn't get him wrapped up.
So South Dakota State finding a way to continue these drives here in the first half. You got to look out for number 19 down here along with number 86 if you're North Dakota State defensively.
Trying to jam Winicky at the line. Dempsey is the bracket guy up top.
Christian across the middle, tries to force it in, and it is.
Caught it.
They say incomplete, but I think Goddard thinking he had it. And a flag comes in.
There is a flag on the play, but Goddard catches this. It does not hit the turf. I think when they replay this, it's going to be a catch.
And he has made some spectacular catches
over and over and
this
over
year.
again. If this flag is against the body, this will be a real good look. Well, I guess I couldn't tell if the ball hit the turf as it came off his leg or off his foot. But I thought he got it.
It did not look like it did hit the ground from our viewpoints we've looked at so far. Couldn't really see there.
That's probably the angle we needed to see and couldn't.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Personal foul, targeting on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. That play is under further review.
And if that goes on Plank, then you lose your middle linebacker for the rest of the game.
Well, Plank is looking at, did you call that on me? So there's two things they're probably looking at here. Is it a touchdown, and was it targeting?
I don't think that was targeting.
I wasn't even really looking for it, to be honest with you, because Dempsey was in on the hit too.
Well, Goddard certainly thinks he has it. Now, the officials have our viewpoints and our camera angles
to look at.
There was that end zone shot that may have shown the Plank targeting a little bit better. It's this one right here. Let's take a look at number 44 to see if that is a targeting indeed.
I wouldn't think so.
Now, there's all sorts of things to look at on this play.
Thought he was trying to get his shoulder in there, but Plank is who they're looking at on the play. He's just trying to get there because he knows the ball's zipping past him. He's trying to recover. But you're right, if Plank is out, then you might see PRG Tucker playing some Mike linebacker and a whole bunch of different things linebacker-wise that'll need to happen in this game.
The officials will continue to get looks upstairs on everything, and this might take a while.
This is one they.
I don't know if we saw a look that showed the ball didn't hit the ground. I mean, it's hard to really tell. There's another look.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Christian, a little bit high. Oh, that's not targeting. He didn't lead with the crown of his helmet or anything, did he?
I don't think so. And again, talking about losing plank for the rest of the game here if that penalty is upheld. But none of those angles we've seen, LT, shows the ball and whether or not it did not hit the turf.
Yeah, that's the right here. Not seeing when the ball goes down to Goddard's left, whether he keeps his hand or his arm or whatever underneath it. So I don't know if you can overturn the fact whether it's a touchdown, but they are watching really close to see if, in the minds of the officials, if this was targeting. If you launch, if you lead with the crown of your helmet, it looked like he was trying to get a shoulder in there to separate a ball that was a potential touchdown grab.
Here we go.
After review, the ruling of targeting is reversed. The ruling of incomplete pass stands. It will be second down.
Well, both of those go in favor of North Dakota State. Big time. And I think Goddard really believed he had the football, but we just did not have a replay that showed it the other way.
It's one of those situations, if you go back to the game against Eastern, where whatever was called on the field, you can't overturn it. Now, if the touchdown by the back judge is called, we can look at the same thing and say, sure looks like a touchdown. You can't overturn that.
Well, more importantly for North Dakota State, Matt Plank can stay in the game, and they stay intact at linebacker.
That was a real nice play, though. They shifted Goddard from one side to the other. They do it again here to split him wide against Winbush.
Mengarelli met by Wimbush, stayed on his feet to about the 7-yard line, and that will bring up another big third down here for South Dakota State.
Wimbush with the first hit, stumped the second guy there. Now Jalen didn't bring him down, but he did hit him hard enough to get Mengarelli off his path. Took some of that momentum away.
So far today, South Dakota State has really liked the quarterback run in this situation.
This tight, though, I don't know if you can do it here.
Christian will throw, floats it up, it is caught! Goddard made the catch, touchdown!
Looks like he caught the back half of the football as well.
Oh, they're going to say false start before the play even happened.
Ooh. If that's the case, this...
False start, offense number 86.
Yeah, the guy who
5-yard penalty, third down.
The guy who caught it moved a little bit early.
Oh, South Dakota State just cannot get a break here in the first half.
Well, just in the last few plays, they're 0 for 3 in breaks.
So take the touchdown off the board, and now you're backed up to 3rd and 12.
But what a beautiful place to put the ball, though. When you have Winicky and Goddard, they can go get it. So you throw it high to the back 3 yards of the end zone. You can't defend the back 3 yards of the end zone. Christian had it on target, but there was a penalty before it started.
Christian gonna roll, dumps it off in the flat. That's to Goddard, and he is gonna come up a yard short of a first down. And again, another tough decision for John Stiglmeyer. Trey Dempsey on the tackle.
Dempsey is the reason that Stig has to make this decision. Outstanding job. Keep in mind that, and we've called him that, he's a wide receiver skill set in a defensive end's body. And Dempsey coming downhill, getting into his legs, and making it 4th down again. And Stig is leaving the offense on the field.
Play clock already down to 10. South Dakota State's going to have to hurry or call another timeout. 5 on the play clock. Christian quickly trying to get him to the line, and finally Stiglmeyer says, let's call a timeout and get organized.
You're right. Stig does not want his team to, in this critical 4th down play, to have to hurry up.
South Dakota timeout.
And despite all this, LT, there are still no points on the board for South Dakota State here in the first half, which is unbelievable. Let's take a look And our trivia question today brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean and North Dakota Corn Councils. Today, farmers receive how many cents for every food dollar spent?
I'll guess the lowest one.
Pretty big disparity between 12 and 80. So you got to go one heavy one way or heavy the other, right?
Jalen Winbush is walking to the sideline right now, kind of with his head down, and I think Doc Pyatt saw something and helped him come off.
So Quentin McCoy, the senior junior college transfer, will come in here for Winbush on 4th and 1 from the 3. Mangarelli in the backfield with Christian. Fade pattern. It is tipped away by Jalen Allison. Winicky, the intended target, and another red zone stop inside the 5 for the Bison defense.
Your best receiver against your best cover corner. Nice job, Jalen Allison. Kept perfect position, is able to get a hand and reach it up there and get that ball loose between those two hands of Winicky. If he gets one hand on there, he probably catches it. Bison defense again come up big inside the 5.
Similar play about a month ago here when Cooper Kupp was playing for Eastern Washington, and a little bit of a push-off by Kupp, and that was a touchdown reception. This time Allison holds his ground. The Jacks come up empty again on 2 drives that they drove the length of the field and came up with nothing.
And similar to the first time the Bison had the ball, if NDSU can get this first down, what a huge thing that will do for their defense.
Chase Morlock getting the carry there, and a tough week for Chase, obviously. His father's funeral on Thursday. Did not make the trip to Missouri State last week as his father was very ill from cancer. Certainly our thoughts and condolences out to the Morlock family, everybody in the city of Moorhead that's been so supportive of that family over the last several months. Inside handoff to Anderson. Boy, he is driven back right at the 8-yard line. Nice take. I think look, Banasiak is the one that came in there to make the tackle. Let's take a look at the answer to our trivia question brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean and North Dakota Corn Councils. Today, farmers receive how many cents for every food dollar spent? The answer is 12 cents. LT comes through again. Clutch LT.
You just have to figure, who's ever growing the food gets paid the least in the food industry. Big 3rd down here for both the offense and the defense.
Bison 2 of 3 on 3rd down. This one 3rd and 5. Play action. Stick has an open receiver and it is dropped. Would have been a 1st down, I think, for Shepard had he caught it. And instead, that will bring up a punting situation for North Dakota State, and they go 3 and out.
Yeah, you're right, Brian. He would have picked up the 1st down. Shepard was the one who came in motion, then he came back behind the line. Kind of a little, it's a similar look on the back end as a wheel, but when you drop it, you don't have a chance. And now that Bison defense has to go back out on the field. Not a very long rest for NDSU's D.
South Dakota State has already run 29 plays here in the 1st half. Jackson Kuntz, high, fairly deep punt. A fair catch at the 47-yard line taken by Marquise Lewis. And the Jacks will be in Bison territory when we come back. 7-0 North Dakota State on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. This game brought to you in high definition by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs. South Dakota State inside Bison territory at the 47.
Do a lot to quarterback run. It's been a tough job for the Bison defense. So far, they've kept them off the scoreboard.
Isaac Wallace has room to run, and he's finally tripped up after a gain of 10 to the 36. And South Dakota State really keeping NDSU off balanced here in the 1st half.
Yeah, Jacob Onasorgi, the center, Number 62 getting a real good push. He got into the body of Stump and threw him off his feet. Started in all 32 games that the Jacks have played. He's a good one, really good one.
Two-year captain. Got it again, motions down to the bottom of your screen. Got to know where 86 is at all times. Inside handoff. Again, it's Wallace following some blocks. Taken down from behind by Matt Plank, but a pretty good push for the Jacks. Gain of 6.
Boy, the Jacks are running the ball way better than I thought they were going to be able to so far today.
94 rushing yards already for South Dakota State. And again, the Bison have only given up 101 total yards in rush defense the last 3 games combined.
Beth said that from the sideline, still evaluating Jalen Winbush. Talking with him, you saw a quick shot of him on the bench.
2nd and 4 coming up. Wallace again has a first down. Robbie Grimsley makes the tackle, but Wallace has a first down to the 25.
The Bison blitzed run that time, Brian, and guessed the A-gap to the offense's right side. The run came to the other side. No linebacker there, so Grimsley has to come down from his safety position to make the tackle. And by the time he gets there, it is a first down. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Excellent job of getting Steidl turned. You don't do that very often, but Aaron Steidl's shoulders were turned, and when you do that to the defensive line, you're going to gain yards on the ground.
Christian to throw. Fires in the flat, caught by Goddard. Quentin McCoy in on the coverage. Again, he's subbing in for Jalen Winbush and a gain of 7. Chris Kleiman pleading his case for a push-off there from big number 86.
I think Allison's been shadowing Winicky. And so that would leave McCoy on Goddard's side. Yep, there he goes. Allison, no, now he just waved McCoy to stay over there. He's going to stay on the wide side of the field.
Christian to throw, has time, looking deep, and it is intercepted! If it was hung on to, no, he couldn't quite hang on to it. Hit the ground, incomplete, but boy, Robbie Grimsley almost came up with a big turnover there for the Bison.
There was big contact between Grimsley and Goddard at about the 5-yard line. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, the back end of it, 2 hands on it, you must control it. And
he did not.
Did not control it.
I think if Robbie would have kept it in 2 hands, he probably would have come up with it.
Yeah, you're right, it would have been an interception. The Jacks, again, inside the red zone, really putting some stress on the Bison defense today.
3rd and 3. Christian going to take off and there's somebody grabbed Christian to the sideline, and he will run out of bounds. He will actually lose 3 yards, and I think this time Stiegelmeier may just opt for the field goal attempt.
That was a little delayed quarterback run, it looked like to me, because they're trying to show pass in first, and then you saw the guard, the left guard, pull out in front a little bit. But there was nothing there for Christian. Didn't like what he saw. Got what he could.
38-yard attempt coming up again for Vinatieri. And I thought Brad Ambrosius was collared on that play. That's what I saw as Christian rolled out. Vinatieri has not missed with inside 40 yards. And he still hasn't missed inside 40 yards. This one perfect down the middle. In South Dakota State, it's taken a while, but with 2:13 to go here in the first half, the Jacks are on the board at 7-3 on the 8 Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Your score, 2:13 to go here in the first half, and you would think with all the plays and yards that South Dakota State has been able to churn off here in the first half, they'd have more than 3 points. But when the Bison defenses need to get a stop, they have gotten the stop they needed.
Yeah, and twice they didn't really need it till inside the 5. You're dancing with danger when you're as prolific as this South Dakota State offense is. And to be frank, they meaning the Bison are lucky that the Jacks have only scored 3 points. Sam
Koob handles the kickoff duties for South Dakota State. This is another Peterson pharmacy kickoff. Kickoff for Peterson. This one drilled deep Bruce Anderson will not have an opportunity to return it, and the Bison will take over at the 25.
That's why he's the kickoff guy, and Vinatieri's the field goal guy, because he's got a really good leg to try to get it deep. And with Bruce Anderson back there, you do not want him to run it back.
Here's a look at your Bobcats game recap. 7 plays, 26 yards in just over 3 minutes, ending with a Chase Vinatieri 38-yard field goal. And we talk about time of possession and ball control. South Dakota State has run 35 plays here in the first half and had the ball for just over 17 minutes. Or, yeah, close to that, 17 minutes.
Yeah, Coach Polasek was hoping that his team would have the ball close to 30, 35 plays in the first half. Well, just the opposite has happened. So whether the Bison score or not in this last minute, or this last 2:13, I think it's real important for NDSU, its offense, to help its defense out now, stay on the field, and let that Bison defense get that extra rest heading into half.
Dimitri Williams in motion. Morlock gets the inside handoff, still on his feet, and Chase finally taken down by Cole Langer after a gain of 7.
Coach Polasek calls number 25 there, Chase Morlock, as both mentally and physically as tough as it gets. And the thing with Chase, and we heard it when they pulled the red shirt way back when, he's a football player, and that's the ultimate compliment. He does everything. He can do everything. He can run it, block it, catch it, special teams. Big part of this NDSU football team.
Morlock actually offered a scholarship first by South Dakota State. Got the NDSU offer later, decided to stay home. Here comes a flag. So whatever happens here for Easton Stick may come back.
He's just shy, just a hair shy, I think, of first down. He's moving on the outside, wasn't it?
Looked like it. This game brought to you in high definition by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs. 1:28 to go here in the second quarter as they sort it out. I think giving Stiglmeyer his options of what he would like to do.
Illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
So that will bring the ball back.
South Dakota State has decided to start the clock on the snap. It will start on the ready. Correction, it will start on the ready.
So we'll bring up 2nd and 8, and we'll see how aggressive Tim Polasek gets here with a minute to go. NDSU still has all 3 timeouts, so if they choose to try to move the ball here, they have some timeouts to work with. Inside handoff again. Frazier tripped up.
Down.
At the 29-yard line will bring up 3rd down.
That's twice now the Bison. Well, this one the ground did cause the fumble, so it's not a fumble. That's twice now the ball's kind of rolled loose. And if the Jacks, because of those 4th down situations, you know, they had to use timeouts to get those plays in that time. Otherwise, and we would be seeing South Dakota State trying to squeeze another possession out of this.
And Chris Kleiman will call a timeout here with 34
timeout.
seconds to go until
North Dakota State, their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
There just has not been a lot of possessions here in the first half, LT. Each team's only had it 3 times.
Agreed.
We'll take a look at the new seed fan cam.
Well, it's on. The BI and S are taking a break.
There you go. You come in with 2 offenses averaging 31 points and 45 points respectively, and here we are 7-3 in the first half.
And the Bison coming in averaging, what, 240 some yards on the ground, and here it's South Dakota State with quarterback run doing the better job on the ground.
Yeah, Taryn Christian has really been the guy. 11 carries, 63 yards here in the first half. He's 8 of 16 for 102 yards passing.
Yeah, that's what Christian was kind of known for coming into his freshman year. He's a tremendous runner, and he's impressed us on tape with his passing ability this year.
Shepard the motion man here on 3rd and 6. Easton Stick's going to keep it, and Stick keeps his feet to the 41, and Chris Kleiman going to call for another timeout with 29 seconds left.
Now you can take a couple of shots if you want it, but the big thing was picking up the first down. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Play fake, design quarterback run, beat the line.
Timeout, North Dakota State. Their second timeout of the half.
And Stick with some pretty good speed as well to beat one of the outside linebackers.
It'll be a 60-second timeout. 60-second timeout.
Well, again, the career long for Cam Peterson is 52 yards, which he kicked in the opening game of the year against Charleston Southern, but it bounced off the crossbar. So, you know, you'd have to think you'd get him a little bit closer to give him a fair shot at a field goal attempt here.
If I'm calling plays, I'm getting greedy. I'm gonna run some verticals and take a shot. You already have the lead, so you're going to take the lead into the halftime, you would presume. So, you know, why not try to tack 6 more or 7 more on it?
Beth Hool on the sidelines for us as a report, Beth.
They were ready to support him in his return to the football field. Chase Morlock leading the team out today. It's exactly the kind of spark that Coach Kleiman told me Chase Morlock can provide for this football team, and that's exactly what he's done out here today for the Bison.
All right, thank you, Beth. And we certainly do wish the best for Chase. His teammates have been very, very supportive of him. Here he is at the national anthem. Obviously an emotional time as he led the Bison out of the tunnel today. Nice gesture by Chris Kleiman. So here we go.
Now the Bison think that they can have some advantages against the safeties, and inside Ilias, he might be able to get something deep inside on a safety. Look for 86.
Stick. Going to air it out, deep out, caught. Urzendowski gets out of bounds at the 42. That will stop the clock again. Gain of close to 17.
Well, Ilias didn't get the ball on that play, but he influenced where the ball went. Ilias makes a little bit of a move to the inside, so the safety has to honor that. And in that respect, the corner has to drop another 5-6 plays or 6 yards deeper, allowing Urzendowski plenty of cushion on the outside.
So 5 receivers out in the formation here with 22 seconds to go at the 42.
Quarterback runs in play as well with this 5 wide empty set.
And a flag comes in. And a false start on North Dakota State will back him up.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that is Landon Leckler, the senior from Beach. Stick has not thrown the ball a lot, just 6 times. He's completed 4 of them for 43 yards. But again, the Bison able to successfully move the football on the ground. 19 carries as a team for 94 yards.
Obviously, Urzendowski downfield has been his big play guy this year. Just about every game he's had a big one downfield.
Stick now running out of time. Flushed out. Fires across the middle. And the catch is made by Shepard. Clock continues to run with 13 seconds to go. Now 10. And the Bison might have to just spike this one down, and that will bring up 3rd down, but there's only 7 seconds left. So something quick maybe to try to get the ball another 4 or 5 yards downfield to set up a reasonable field goal attempt. From here, it's 55. That's asking a lot.
That's probably too much. You'd like, if you're NDSU, to get it inside the 30. That's 8 yards away, though.
Again, this will have to be quick. The Bison do have a timeout remaining. Stick in the flat. Pass is complete to Darius Shepard, and a timeout taken with 2 seconds left. So will be about a 49, 50-yard attempt from here.
Timeout, North Dakota State. Their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Like you said, Brian, not much time to try to do anything fancy. A little stick route there from Shepard. Just sets down, makes the catch, and gets down to the ground, too, knowing that the timeout is needed, so it took 5 seconds.
Cam Peterson, 1 of 2 from 50+. He's 1 of 3 from 40+. 6 and 10 on the season. And if the Bison can find a way to get 3 points here to end the half, I think Chris Kleiman will take it to be up a touchdown because of how the first half really went down. There's a look at one of the bigger fans you'll find anywhere, the icon.
Yeah, as much as the Jacks gained and moved the ball, to not score a touchdown in that first half at this point seems a little odd, to be honest with you, but that's the fact. That's what we witnessed.
Well, again, Goddard had a touchdown taken off the board because he moved early. This one from 49 for Peterson. Has plenty of leg, and it is good! From 49, Peterson on the final play of the first half extends the Bison lead to 10-3.
Snap was just a hair high, had a little juice behind it. Cole Davis did a nice job getting it down.
Beth Hool on the sideline there with Chris Kleiman to get his thoughts.
How important was that to get points on the board?
Well, really important because we get the ball to start the second half. So whether we got points or not, we couldn't let that great offense have the ball again. As you can see, possessions at a premium.
What's the message here at half?
Keep playing, baby.
All right, guys, that's Coach Kleiman for you.
Keep playing, baby. Peterson connects from 49 as the clock runs out. And the Bison lead at 10-3 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Stay with us. Alex Egan and Ryan Geller are standing by for the Proceed Halftime Report. You're watching the KVLY KFYR Bison Network.
because the Iowa game already, that's an extra conference loss you can afford.
Yeah.
You know.
Mic check, 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 mic check, mic check, check. Ready? All right, Coach, I have to say a 10-3 game, not necessarily the game I think everyone was expecting. What's your evaluation of that first half?
Well, offensive long drives, disappointed in our point production, but a lot of positives from our offense and our defense.
What's the message in there at half? How do you guys come out here and change the tone of this game?
Play like it's your last play. Just go, you do your job. Leave it out there in the field, see what happens.
Thanks so much, Coach. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Getting set for the second half. Beth Hool, our sideline reporter, had a chance to catch up with SDSU head coach John Stiegelmeier.
To say a 10-3 game, not necessarily the game I think everyone was expecting. What's your evaluation of that first half?
Well, offensive long drives, disappointed in our point production, but a lot of positives from our offense and our defense.
What's the message in there at half? How do you guys come out here and change the tone of this game?
Play like it's your last play. Just go, you do your job. Leave it out there in the field, see what happens.
Thanks so much, Coach.
All right, thank you, Beth. And LT, I think that's the reality is I think John Stiegelmeier has played down this week a little bit, and I think the players from a leadership standpoint have tried not to psych themselves out coming in here. They know the situation, certainly, of where they're at in this rivalry in recent years.
Yeah, and for the Jackrabbits, they know, too, that when has NDSU been at its best this year? In the second half. So this could be, for both teams to establish something really important here to start this. The Bison want to grind it down. They've done it. They even did it in Iowa. Very impressive form. So, and remember, too, the Jacks decided to put themselves in this position to have defense out in the third because SDSU won the toss and elected to take the ball to begin the game.
Another Peterson farm seed kickoff. And again, it's Koob kicking off. Bruce Anderson is deep.
He'll have a chance with this one.
From his own 3. And Anderson sneaks through a hole and almost busted through, but still a pretty good return up to the 29-yard line. That's where North Dakota State will have it. And Anderson, again, has really not been active in special teams and on kickoffs due to an ankle injury. First time we've seen him back there in a few games now.
But we also know that he's always one kick away from taking it the distance.
He is the career kickoff leader in terms of return yard average at 31.5 yards a return. So as we saw last year in the playoffs, he can certainly be a weapon on special teams. Easton Stick, 6 of 8, 58 yards. Pretty efficient first half. North Dakota State coming out in a run here, and not much doing on that play. Nice job by Cole Langer as King Frazier gets back to maybe the 26-yard line. As we take a look at your quarterback comparison brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. There's a look at Stick's numbers. The rushing yardage, very, very key in that first half for the Bison.
Yeah, we'll see the same thing, too, when we show Christian's first half stats as well. But, yeah, the Bison would certainly just love to be able to grind it. And, we'll see how South Dakota State's defensive line holds up here in the second half.
Another quarterback run for Stick, and this time he has dropped Jesse Bobbitt. After a gain of 1, drops him at the 27. 3rd and 7 coming up.
Boy, the key to that for Bobbitt is how fast he makes the read. So he reads quarterback run quick. He beats the block, and Bobbitt is at his best inside the box. He's not as solid a tackler, if you will, out in space. So that was kind of a play right in Bobbitt's wheelhouse, and he came through.
Bison 4 of 6 on 3rd down in the first half. Stick has time. Now flush. Now he's running out of time. And now he might run with it. And he will. To the 35, taken down by Roseboom, but he's got a first down.
Jackrabbit down in the backfield as well, where Stick made the move around. So player is down, but Stick with his feet. You're right, though, Brian. For both teams, quarterback run has been very important today.
Looks like Banasiak is the man that is down. And again, he did not play last week, still bothered by some injuries, but certainly a very capable defensive end when he's healthy.
Thought there for a moment that Stick may have been looking down to his high school buddy, because Urzendowski, he went scramble route and went scramble as deep. As soon as he saw Stick moving off, he took off deep, but the Jacks stayed close enough to Urzendowski that Stick did not want to put the ball in the air and risk not picking up that first down.
It was a big first down, I think, on that first possession. LT to not turn it right back over to an offense that's really had a lot of success with South Dakota State. Banasiak walks off.
As a general rule of thumb, South Dakota State does not blitz a lot. So if you're going to go back in a 5-step drop, more often than not, it's going to be 5-on-4 and you're on your offensive line against the Jacks defensive line. So some decent pressure on Stick to force him into the scramble on that last play.
Stick in the flat, fires to Dimitri Williams, and Williams has a first down up to the 46-yard line, taken down by Chris Bolster. And we are receiving word, too, from Beth Houle, by the way, that Blake Witzel is on crutches on the sideline for South Dakota State, so likely not to return today.
That Mutual Insurance replay, just two little stick routes, and then Stick, the quarterback, decides which one to hit. The reason the inside guy was open was Hazlett, the linebacker, was inching his way during the snap count toward the line of scrimmage, and so he kind of opened up the flat.
Play action. Stick fires on the comeback. Nice job on that execution as Urzendowski makes the catch inside Jack territory to the 39. Enough for another first down. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
Here's what you don't get to see most of the time when you watch football on TV. You don't get to see what the wide receivers are doing, but the key to that is Stick, once he, or the receiver Urzendowski, once you get the corner's hips turned, then you have the advantage as the offensive player because you know where you're going, and that guy defending you has already made a commitment.
Delta formation here on 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Anderson, working off a couple of blocks, and finally taken down by Roseboom after a gain of 6.
That's the type of production the Bison are looking for on first down. You gain 5 or 6 yards, that means you're being first down efficient, which, according to Coach Polisic and anyone who's calling plays, boy, when you can do that, then your world as a play caller becomes much, much easier. First down efficiency, always a key. And Bison in the second halves of games have been much better this year.
Frazier tiptoeing through. He's close to a first down, maybe a yard short to the 30 before he was taken down.
When that play first developed, it looked like it was going to be maybe a bigger hitter than it did, but the timing of it just wasn't quite there to hit the gap at the right time. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, Plankers pulling. Morlock the lead block. The Jacks actually did a decent job of shutting it down and preventing it from becoming a first down. Right here, I'm thinking the play is going to get a little bit bigger. I missed the number of the white jersey who's in the bottom of that pile, but he committed himself to stopping it.
It looked like Harms maybe was the guy that stuck his nose in there. So 3rd and 1. Quick out, throw out the screen, and Shepard able to keep the feet moving, has a first down to the 26. Quick little hitch.
But also Shepard does a nice job of absorbing the first contact as Chris Bolster, the free safety, comes down and comes down hard. Shepard's able to keep his momentum up and pick up the first down.
So the Bison doing what they want to do, and that's keep that Jackrabbit offense off the field here this drive. Almost 4.5 minutes long already.
The thing that killed South Dakota State last week were plays just like that. Quick plays to the perimeter, and SIU gained tons of yards and had a bunch of first downs on similar type of plays, and NDSU picking on that so far here in the second.
Stick quarterback run again, and Easton Stick through the hole! He's gone! Touchdown! 26 yards for Easton Stick, his second rushing touchdown of the day.
When your quarterback has a big run up the middle, and almost any time you beat the safety, Mears misses. Nick Mears comes up, the strong safety takes the wrong path, and you'll try to see number 42 come up, and there he is. Missed him. Sticks off to the races and a touchdown. The quarterback, when he runs, is designed to beat a safety.
Extra point is added by Peterson. And North Dakota State answering big, 17-3. Your score on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. The Jackrabbits and Bison brought to you in high definition by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs.
Well, South Dakota State's offense has a tough job now. I think we're going to find out if this is going to be a game or not. The Jackrabbits have to score a touchdown.
Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff by Cam Peterson. Kickoff for planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. This one definitely returnable. coming down at the 6. Ooh, big hit on Isaac Wallace by Matt Plank.
That's a couple of times on the kickoff team Plank has gotten the job done.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
Watch for number 44 to come flying in the screen. There he is. Marlette on the other side just in case to make sure that the runner could not bounce it. Plank was there for the hit.
And North Dakota State, an impressive opening drive here in the second half. 9 plays, 76 yards, 4.5 minutes with Easton Stick running it in from 26 yards out. And Easton having a good day on the ground. 9 rushes, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns.
During that timeout, we talked about the importance of Stick's third down run in that drive to pick up the first. That was the key play of it.
So South Dakota State from their own 17 got a long way to go. They got a lot of weapons to get downfield.
And they can get down in a hurry.
And off this time, Mengarelli with room. Some pretty sweet feet there for Mengarelli as a first down to the 27.
Especially when it looked like the timing of the play was disrupted a little bit there in the background, but then Mengarelli got shoulders squared again. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Oh, nice cut. He saw Tangway. That's a pretty good idea to run wherever 99 is. Don't run there. And he made the nice cut to get upfield, and he picked up 10 plus.
MJ Stump finally came in to make the stop. There's a look at your North Dakota Beef Commission quarterback comparison for Taryn Christian. A nice first half. Running the football also very effectively. Christian dumps it off to Goddard, and he's got room. Working off a block, a stiff arm, and look at him lower the shoulder and carry Jalen Allison all the way to the 45-yard line. Good enough for a first down.
If you can hide a guy who's 6'5", 6'6", 250, South Dakota State did on that play. He was the tight end lined up on the right, came underneath behind his offensive line in the formation, and then when he finishes like you would expect somebody who's 250. That's physical.
Well, again, Goddard out of Britain, South Dakota, heavily recruited as a basketball player out of high school, and you can see why, how shifty he is with his feet.
Yeah, Goddard was in an option offense. He didn't know really anything about football until he got to Brookings.
Mengarelli again, slowed down for a moment, and then finally taken down after a gain of 3. Matt Plank coming in to make that tackle for North Dakota State. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
The Jacks offensive line, really good push. See that big bunch of players down to the left? You had 4 guys on the turf. You're winning on the offensive side if you can do that. So the Jacks offensive line getting some things done in the run game. Much better than I thought they'd be able to so far today.
Play action this time for Christian. Has time, floats it across the middle, and dropped by Wenicky.
When's the last time anybody has said that? Maybe not this year.
Well-placed football there from Taryn Christian.
Well, Christian kept it high. He gave his chance, his kid Wenicky, to have a chance to do it. It was kind of a delayed drag, and I don't think it was designed that way. It's just because that's how long Christian had after he made a couple of moves in the backfield. That's another thing Christian can do with his feet, is allow his receivers a few more precious seconds to get open.
Greg Menard, by the way, had a huge game last year in Brookings, 2.5 sacks. Charlie Harmon, same guy that he had a block last year, doing a much better job today here for the Jacks. Christian on third down. Slips out of 1 tackle. He's going to come up about a yard short of a first down to the 46.
Well, we'll see how much gamble Stig has in him, and I would assume if you're going to go for it in the first down, in the first half as many times as he did, he's going to go for it here again. Christian on that Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, just a yard short. But again, Christian today has been forced to be physical on the back end. Board with a nice hit.
4th and 1. The Jacks need to get to the Bison 45 to keep the drive alive here. And Christian going to run with it. Slow down, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think so from where they're marking him now.
I thought he got to the 45.
Oh, he's short from where they're marking it right here. There's no question. And another Jackrabbit offensive player is down. And that is Nick Carr, who has battled some injuries in the past. And boy,
Grimsley's first guy there. See Robbie Grimsley getting in and then getting help from his linebacker. Yeah, look at where that left shoulder comes down short of the line, and we know the ball wasn't as far up as his left shoulder, so you're right, that looks like a pretty good spot, and it's going to be short.
He needed the 45-yard line based on where the stick was located. I think he's going to come up short by the length of the football at least.
You're right about Nick Carr, though. He's been battling some knee issues. He missed last year, all of last year with the knee, and that forced the Jacks to pull the red shirt on a kid they like, Wes Gannett. But the Bison defense making another 4th down stop. Is that 3 of them today, right?
That is. The Jacks are 1 of 4 today on 4th down, and they have come in critical situations. They may review this, possibly.
The previous play is under review for the spot in regards to the line of game.
But you know what, though, Brian? I think that one last replay we watched, when we saw Christian's left shoulder hit the turf, the ball is back underneath his armpit, and that left shoulder was not to the 45, so there's no way the ball could be to the 45, so I think the linesman got the spot right.
And regardless, it would be extremely difficult to overturn, again, with what we have seen on the replay so far.
But is it worth looking at?
Absolutely. Big play in a football game. You give North Dakota State a short field and a 2-touchdown lead. Look out.
Boy, and by that same token, though, now the offense for the Bison, they have an opportunity right here to really lay some wood after that opening drive for a touchdown. And you mentioned on the short field, the golden opportunity for NDSU to take one of their toughest opponents. And
after review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, North Dakota State.
So North Dakota State comes up with another critical stop defensively. Boy, and the Jacks could have so many more points on the board.
I was going to say, so a combined, what, yard and a half that the Jacks have been short, probably a yard, has been the critical issue in the game on those 4th downs. Missed it again by about another 4 inches.
So the Bison offense takes over at the 46. Play action. And stick hits Shepard, and it is complete or incomplete? Incomplete is the call on the far sideline.
The home side.
We'll stick with 3 options on that particular route. He chose the middle, and it didn't work.
Beth Houle has a report for us. Beth?
Hey, guys, NDSU scoring on their first drive for the first time this season after the offense came off the field. Easton Stick coming to his offensive lineman and saying, 60 minutes, guys. Let's give them 60 minutes. And he certainly led with his message there, leading off this second half.
Frazier working off a couple of blocks. Thank you, Beth. Football is loose. Farina on top of it. And South Dakota State's defense comes up with a much-needed turnover.
Yeah, that's Jacks football. It came out. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Unbalanced, wide side. And that is a clear fumble. So that opportunity the the Bison offense had to bury the Jacks, not going to happen. He gets tripped up just a little bit running into the hip of his own guy. Not close, clear fumble.
Hit by Balster is the one that forced it loose. Farina came up with it. Boy, the Jacks, a huge play defensively. They really needed something good to happen on that side of the football. Christian will throw it. Plenty of time airing it out as an open receiver. It is almost caught, almost intercepted, and then almost caught again. Wenicky, the intended target. Trey Dempsey came over in coverage.
Christian's not going to like this when he sees the all-22 because he picks the wrong guy. This is the guy who's covered. Winneke almost makes the catch, but he had Goddard running right down the hash marks, wide open for a touchdown, and he picked the wrong guy. Here you'll see it. 86, right down the middle with the linebacker trailing.
Inside handoff to Mengarelli. Boy, another strong run for Brady Mengarelli. Gains 9 up to the 45. 3rd and short coming up. Jack's only averaging about 120 yards a game on the ground, and they have certainly been more effective today, LT, than I think either you or I thought they could be.
Yeah, running the ball has been almost an afterthought with the Jacks so far this year. But yeah, it's obviously a big part of what they've been doing right, and the quarterback's been doing a lot of the running.
Christian's going to keep it to the outside. He's got a first down and out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So Taryn Christian continues to make things happen with his feet here today.
And if Christian's ankle's a little bit healthier, this one might have been able to go all the way, because you see playing catch-up, Grimsley. And then Christian not trying to force the issue up the field and taking a hit. He knows he already has the football, or excuse me, the first down.
Christian to throw again. Looking, firing high across the middle and off the hands of Winneke, a little bit behind him. Christian took a shot and a flag comes in.
Late hit. This will be roughing the passer. First down for South Dakota State.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 93. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jared Tuska.
Passes away. 1, 2, yep. Tuska, of course, he's from, well, if you don't know, he's from South Dakota, so you know that he was recruited heavily by South Dakota State as well.
That moves the ball all the way inside the NDSU 20-yard line. Can the Jacks finally cash in on one of these opportunities in the red zone?
Well, the Bison mistakes have gotten them here. Turnovers and penalties.
Mengarelli, another nice hole. Gains about 5.
Yeah, South Dakota State's offensive line's doing a much better job inside than I thought it was able to do, or led to believe that it could do. Look at that push. That's a really solid push. And then you're one-on-one at the second level with Stump. Pickup of what, 6? Yeah, when your running back's clean to the line of scrimmage, you know you're getting it done on the offense. Double tight again.
Christian across the middle, open receiver, caught, touchdown, Goddard.
Success on the ground helps lead to this, because Goddard's in as a tight end in a blocking position. He fakes the block, they read run on the opposite side, runs right up the seam, touchdown.
So finally the Jacks cash in, and boy, thanks to the turnover there, this thing could have got out of hand in a hurry. Instead, South Dakota State answers quickly after the turnover. Vinatieri adds the extra point, and the Jacks back within a touchdown. 17-10 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 5:26 to go in the third quarter. $17-10 your score. This game brought to you in high definition by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs. Koob back out for a kickoff for South Dakota State. 12-yard touchdown pass from Taryn Christian to Dallas Goddard, and that is the 9th touchdown reception already of the season for the big tight end, the junior from Britain, South Dakota. This one driven pretty deep. Anderson from 6 yards in is going to bring it out. And he is upended at the 14-yard line. North Dakota State will be backed up when we come back. 5:22 to go here in the third. And it's 17-10, your score. North Dakota State backed up after Bruce Anderson kind of hesitated from his own end zone bringing it out, and North Dakota State now has a long way to go.
Yeah, when you hesitate, the blocking is disrupted already, the timing of it.
Hand off to the outside. Boy, not much. Oh, excuse me. Steck kept it.
Yeah.
For a 2-yard gain. As we take a look at our Bobcats game recap. Pretty good drive for South Dakota State and efficient after the turnover. 5 plays, 54 yards in just a minute 57.
Yeah, what a turn of events after 4th down being inches short, and then not long after that, Frazier's fumble changes the entire complexion of the game. Also the penalty on the late hit helped out the Jacks in that drive.
Frazier, boy, stood right up by Hazlett at the line of scrimmage, no gain. 5 white jerseys in on that play for South Dakota State. Excuse me, Dunn got the carry, not Frazier.
Yeah, linebackers really playing run and helping out, supplanting, like Arith right there, Ryan Arith, the defensive end. But there's a safety in on the play, there's a linebacker in on the play, and you have a defensive lineman in on the play. How much did the Jacks sell out on run on that? A guy from each level of your defense. Think play action later, but not on 3rd down, obviously.
Stick to throw, airing it out deep, has one-on-one coverage, it is caught! Shepard to the 41.
The weak link in the pass coverage for South Dakota State has been the safeties. And that's who Shepard beats. Bolster on Shepard. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Stick, who's thrown the deep ball very, very well. And Shepard, if he can step out of that, he probably gets it to the house. But Bolster is beat deep. That was a point of emphasis for NDSU's offense coming into this game, and they were able to take advantage of it.
And Bolster is the one that's down and getting helped off the field. Cole Langer also limped off after that play for South Dakota State.
And Bolster on the sideline, maybe he just landed on a foot or something like that, got the wind knocked out of him. Looks like he'll return later.
Boy, big 3rd down conversion there for the Bison. They've been able to do that really well today. 7 of 9 on 3rd down for North Dakota State.
45% the Bison were coming into this game on the year.
Bruce Anderson up and over and down for a gain of 2. Arith again in on that stop.
For the most part, other than the one big, the 99-yard touchdown drive, I think Jacks have done a decent job on the runs inside the tackle so far today. I thought the Bison would be able to own that a little bit more to this point in the game.
Time of possession still in favor of South Dakota State at this point.
Yeah, the Bison in the last 36 games have only lost that time of possession once, and that was the loss to South Dakota last year here.
Anderson again. Tries to step out of one tackle and then driven back by a whole host of South Dakota State Jackrabbits. In there for the Jacks was Micaiah Slade, the safety.
Yeah, Slade was far from the first guy there, but he helped finish him off. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. The Bison have a player down. And Anderson, remember, he has a high ankle sprain that he's dealing with. And did you see how the guy had a hold of his ankle? That's the fear. That was the fear for the Bison, was that he would get tackled or pulled down from behind and aggravate that high ankle sprain. That's exactly what NDSU did not want to see happen. Someone tugging on the leg of Bruce Anderson.
And he tried to get up and put weight on it and could not, and went immediately back down to the turf. Let's take another look at the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
Anderson is engaged at the hip, rose boom, and then he slides to the ankle. And then a twist.
Ooh.
And a twist, and a little more of a twist. And then you get all that weight piled on top of you once again.
Chris Kleiman, the head coach, out there with Bruce. And I know we talked to Tim Polasek about that, and he was really concerned about when to play Bruce. Even last week, he was a little hesitant just because Chase Morlock was kind of dealing with the same sort of injury all through last year. They never got him healthy. Anderson did not play against Illinois State, did play last week against Missouri State sparingly. Dr. Bruce Pyatt and trainer Bobby Knodel out there to help Bruce off, and no weight on that ankle. So third down coming up here for the Bison, 3rd and 6 from the 37.
Morlock's going to go in at running back.
Pressure coming on Stick. He's going to air it out for Urzendowski, who's open! But he just overthrew him, incomplete.
Again, the Bison attacking where they think they could try to get the ball deep, and that was a one-on-one situation with the safety. Balster back in, had the coverage on Urzendowski, and the pass thrown too long.
So the Bison will punt it from their own 37 here on 4th and 6. Jackson Kuntz on to boot this one away. Marquise Lewis back deep at his own 10 for South Dakota State. This one hung up high. Bounces at about the 4, still bouncing and finally touchdown. Nice job on special teams at the 2-yard line. Dan Marlette, the Sioux Falls native, is the one that touched it down. And South Dakota State trailing by 7 has the football back when we come back after this. North Dakota State has won 27 of the last 28 meetings against South Dakota State here in Fargo. The Jacks trying to put an end to an 8-game losing streak against the Bison to rest. Inside handoff, Mingarelli driven back by a bunch of Bison. Gain of 3, 2.
McCoy was one of the players in on that tackle. But just to show you how important the ground game has been to South Dakota State this year, and I know this year, last year, two totally different animals, but the Jacks were minus 4 yards rushing last year in the game in Brookings.
And here we go, the Jacks spreading things out here on 2nd down. Christian in the pocket, flushed out. Sneaks away, using his legs, and Taryn Christian across the 20, the 30, and Taryn Christian all the way to the 45-yard line. And another Jackrabbit down back at the 9.
What did we say when Stick had that nice long run?
Timeout for injury.
If you have a long quarterback run, it's because you beat a safety. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You're going to see where Robbie Grimsley comes up to try to make a run fit, and he misses. Right there. Grimsley took the wrong route, and Christian was able to adjust from where Grimsley was attacking his angle at, beat him on the angle. One play later, you're at midfield.
39 yards on that run for Taryn Christian, who is now over 100 yards rushing on the day. 15 carries for 120 yards.
Jacks 132 rushing yards today, right?
Actually now up to 189.
189 rushing, excuse me. It's 132 passing, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Christian, play action to throw. Across the middle, and Trey Dempsey got there just a hair early.
Yes, he did. Dempsey was on one of the shoulders of Winicky before the ball got there. This is a good call. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. It'll be a deep drag. Winicky's on the bottom left of your screen. Right arm certainly in there. Turns Winicky away. This will be a real good look at it. Open deep over the middle.
Interference. Defense number 21. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I think they got the number wrong there. I think it was Trey Dempsey. We got there early.
Yeah, it was Dempsey. number 3.
That moves the ball all the way to the NDSU 41.
Well, the Bison fans are seeing it on the big screen in here, and they can boo if they want as we.
Beth Hool on the sidelines for us. We'll get a report from her after this play. Isaac Wallace gets the carry, plunges ahead for 3 yards to the 38. Beth, looked like Bruce Anderson hurt a little bit down there on the sidelines.
That's right, leaving the field on crutches, has a boot on that leg with a towel hanging over his head as he leaves for the locker room today.
Beth, thank you very much. And boy, a big loss there for North Dakota State. Not only what he can do as a running back, but on special teams as well. And it may be a while before we see number 8 back on the field.
Yeah, the way that leg was twisted up underneath that big pile of people, that did not look good.
2nd and 7. Play action again for Christian. Fires, caught again. Wenneke wide open and still going. Wenneke down to the 15-yard line, and that will be the final play likely of the 3rd quarter. And South Dakota State just 15 yards away from tying this thing up.
I love that play because Goddard and Wenneke were on the same side. Goddard's in the slot. He goes up to take the safety away from the play to make it one-on-one on the outside, and you love that setup if you're the Jacks.
Final 15 from Fargo coming up, but yeah, it's the 4th quarter, so hold up your 4 for the 4 for 4 from Petro Serve USA. Get a pizza, 2 cookies, and a drink for $4 at all 24 Petro Serve USA locations every day. We're back to Fargo to wrap things up in this battle for the Dakota marker after this. Man wrecking crew so far here for South Dakota State.
Especially on the ground. 15 carries, 125 yards. 120 net.
And Mangarelli has room inside the 10. Mangarelli down to the 2-yard line. And the Jacks, an effective drive once again, continuing to move the ball at will here against the Bison defense.
Kodak Mutual Insurance replay. Christian up the middle has been pretty good, but here's a little jet type of a look for Mangarelli. More than a little look. This is a play that Wenneke had earlier in the game that didn't have much success on it. Mangarelli almost got it into the end zone.
1st and goal at the 2. Lauscher, the lead block. Christian going to throw it up, and it is intercepted! Trey Dempsey came over to get it.
Taryn Christian has not made many mistakes today. He made one right there, and the Bison made him pay for it. Trying to get the ball to the back corner, it never did. Great read Dempsey makes on the play. Trey comes up with the pick. So as big as the fumble was as a momentum builder for South Dakota State, maybe this is what the Bison defense needs to help turn the tide NDSU's way.
1st and goal at the 2, and an interception in the end zone. That is 3 times the Jacks have had the ball inside the 5, and all 3 times they have come up empty for points. Wow.
What a super break he made on that ball, though. That was a good read by Dempsey, the safety, and he beat Wenneke to the high spot. That's usually where he scores. Throw it up high, he'll go get it.
Stick across the middle and hits a sliding Darius Shepard for a 1st down. No, they're saying incomplete. The back judge came in to say no, he did not catch it. We'll bring up 2nd down.
See if we can catch it on our Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Whether this ball skips on the turf or not. You be the judge at home. See what you think.
We really...
No. Oh, no. Yeah. He meaning Shepard, was unable to keep both hands underneath the football. He kind of rolled up one of his arms. They're going to look again, but I think the play on the field's the right call. Well, maybe not on that replay.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. That play is under further review.
Undisputable visual evidence. I don't know if we have it here.
The thing is you can't tell, though, if the ball hits the turf before we see him roll from that angle.
Well, Shepard thinks he caught it.
But think of where some, in the second half especially, where some of NDSU's most successful downfield plays have gone, including this one, whether it stands or not. Where was it? It was the middle of the field attacking the safeties. I think call stands.
I think so too, based on what we've seen. Another look at it. Oh, there's probably the best look from the end zone, and we'll focus in.
Enhance it. Hands underneath. Is that? Looks like the ball was probably on the turf there, doesn't it?
Boy, it's going to be tough to overturn it if it's that hard for us to tell.
No, I think it's 2nd and 10.
There's a look at the replay booth. Had a chance to. We actually had the same replay official here, I think, 3 times. Haven't we, LT?
Yep, one of the guys. He had to endure our season opener on TV, the Eastern Washington game, which was upon further review hell, to be honest with you, that game.
After review, the ruling of an incomplete pass stands as called.
Yeah. It's the right call. Move on. 2nd and 10. Some good looks, though, there from the guys in the truck. And from being other places, we have had replay officials tell us how they like to work our games because we give them good angles to look at.
Quick toss out in the flat to Shepard. Gets what he can, about 4 yards to the 24. We bring up 36.
Trying to see if you can juke Washington and maybe squirt past him, but the junior Washington doing a good job staying square and not giving up much.
And 2 so very talented safeties the last few years here at South Dakota State. You look at Jerian Butler and Jimmy Forsythe. They played a lot of football. I think they feel really good about Brown and Washington, just not quite as much experience.
And we should say, too, that the other Brown who got hurt last week, Dallas Brown, big playmaker.
Stick under pressure. Here comes. And down he goes. And I think it was Hazlett that got in there.
Roseboom. Number 2, the linebacker. Yep. Roseboom coming off the edge, coming untouched, and coming hard.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. There he is, number 2, Roseboom. And again, Langer also got in there to force the issue. Excuse me, Solik, number 94. So the Bison offense unable to capitalize after the turnover, and that will put the Jackrabbit offense right back on the field. Flag comes in.
High and short.
And Kuntz is going to bounce this one at about the 50. And it'll be touched down there by MJ Stump.
Flag.
Looked like somebody jumped for South Dakota State.
On the snap. And if you're NDSU, you re-kick this thing because otherwise the Jacks have it on your side of the field.
It's a 31-yard punt.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
Movement on the left side of the screen.
So Jackson Kuntz will get another shot at it here.
He'll have the 5 yards from the penalty, but if you're Chris Kleiman and special team coaches, you want this thing a lot deeper in the air than 31 yards. Kuntz gets it so high that it's hard to return it off of him. That's the one thing he certainly does for you. He puts that ball in the air, and it's hard to get a returnable kick.
He's averaging about 35 yards a punt this season. And this one better. Oh,
now it's catch interference. That's Morlock.
He drilled Marquise Lewis.
I did not see a fair catch signal, but you have to let the guy have a chance to catch it. And where's the ball going to be? Right back around midfield where the first punt was. Morlock. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. He's in your screen. He's coming down. No fair catch signal. And now Morlock's trying to time his hit. Way early, obviously. I know South Dakota State's behind.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team, number 27. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So the Jacks will end up having it right where they would have had it before.
But my point is here, Brian, the Jacks are behind, but they're not in a very bad position in the context of the way this game is playing out, I don't think. They're going to score some more. When you're down by one, by the touchdown in the PAT, you have another short field.
18,828 people here at the Fargo Dome to take it in. That is the 42nd straight home game over 18,000 here in the Fargo Dome. Taryn Christian back to work. Drops it off. Goddard working off a block. And Goddard just running over and around people and takes 5 Bison defenders to take him down at the 26. Bison asking for a penalty back in midfield. They are not going to get it.
They're pointing at the first block, the initial block made there by Anderson, but I didn't think there was anything when the play developed that was at issue there.
Timeout for injury. Injury timeout.
See Dom Davis going into the game, so the injury must be one of the Bison safeties. It happened along the sideline. I don't see Dempsey out there.
Dempsey is out there, number 3, I think.
Right
next to Grimsley.
Okay.
Oh, there's Jalen Allison who's out. That's
21.
another corner. Now, we're already missing Wimbush, so that puts 2 backup corners in the game.
Yep, your number 2 depth chart corners. And your first play, you got to go up against Winicky.
Wallace taken down by Matt Plank, and others help out after a gain of 1.
If I'm Davis in that situation, I'm like, thank you for running.
And Allison right back in the game now for North Dakota State.
Jackrabbits running attempts on first down, I think, have been pretty good today. Their production on the ground on first. This is one of the few times they only gained a yard or so. A lot of pre-snap movement. Mengarelli way on the right side now.
Christian will take off with it again. Here comes Grimsley. Will back off as Christian runs out of bounds after maybe a yard up to the 25. Third down coming up for the Jacks. 3rd and 8.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay trying to follow the fullback, but the pressure that Menard gets, he pushes his man back a couple of steps. And so where Christian wanted to go wasn't available. He picked up the 1 yard and saved the hit.
Christian play action, going deep for Landberg, but he could not come back to the football. It was a little bit underthrown and incomplete.
Very much underthrown. Landberg tried to put the brakes on. His feet come out from underneath him. I think Christian was thinking, I'll back shoulder this thing, but it was even way short of that.
Vinatieri on for a 42-yard field goal. He is 0 for 2 from 40 plus. We'll get the Jackrabbits back within 4. Vinatieri, plenty of leg. Wow, big time leg, and it's good from 42. So Chase Vinatieri, good again. He's 2 for 2 today. And the Jackrabbits within 4. 17-13, 11:04 to go on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Back at the Fargo Dome, time for the UC Fan Cam Bison faithful looking a little concerned here.
Even though the Bison have the lead. Ty Brooks, by the way, Brian, is back deep because Anderson's injury.
And Brooks did get a return last week. Redshirt freshman out of Fargo. Played at South High School for Troy Mattern. Rooted deep. Brooks from the goal line. Tiptoes around and gets to about the 17. And Easton Stick in the offense sputtered a little bit on their last 2 drives.
Yeah, the Bison offense could really help its defense out by hanging around on that field for a little bit a while here. But again, you got to credit the Jacks for also forcing the Bison hand.
South Dakota State 21 first downs today. The Bison with 15. 58 plays run on offense for South Dakota State. The Bison with 48. Connor Wentz in motion. Boy, Jackrabbits have done a much better job here in the second half. Roseboom is there, along with Gottlieb. Gain of 1.
Wentz motions into a power eye situation, and you run power as well.
Game recap presented by Bobcats. 5 plays, 25 yards, and 146 as Vinatieri hits the 43-yard field goal.
That's a play designed, and you expect to get 4 or maybe 5 yards on it, and you only get 1, so now you're behind the chains. You're off already.
Still a lot of time left in this football game. 10.5 minutes. Easton Stick is going to keep it. Stick running around the official, still on his feet. Has a first down to the 29-yard line. Finally, Cole Langer was the one to drag him down, but it looked like Stick, if he could break to the outside, had a lot of room to run.
Yeah, the umpire certainly helps out the Jacks on this particular play, but there's your cut. Really nice job to get past the safety, and then Langer hanging with the play. He's one of those defensive ends, or excuse me, defensive tackles.
Dunn from Stick, working off a couple of blocks in front of him and gets about 4. Balster in from his safety spot to make another tackle.
Ilias out there trying to block. And I thought last week, given the situation that the Bison had with
to the point where he was inserted on the depth chart at fullback this week behind Chase Morlock.
He motions in there too.
Not a lot of room for Dunn. Gets across the 35. Will bring up 3rd and 4.
You know, for a moment there, it looked like that play was blocked well enough to maybe go, and by the time the ball gets to the line of scrimmage, it's already closed down. You see Morlock with a little squeeze, and it was the unblocked man from the outside, Jordan Brown, one of the corners, who helps collapse that play. If Brown's, you know, a half a step too slow, the Bison probably get the first down.
Easton Stick here on 3rd and 4. Trying to set up a screen, and it is caught, but a loss of 3 on the play. Jackrabbits had everything snuffed out pretty well there.
And they were coming too. So the Jacks had a lot of players in there, a couple of blitzing linebackers as well.
Take a look at our trivia question, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean and North Dakota Corn Councils. In 1960, each U.S. farmer fed 26 people. Today, each farmer feeds how many people? And there are your answers. We'll have the answer for you coming up. So the Bison offense able to get 1 first down, but again, not able to sustain a whole lot as Jackson Kuntz hangs this one up. And fair catch at the 30-yard line by Lewis in South Dakota State. An opportunity to jump ahead when we come back. 7:47 to go from here in Fargo. Christian in the offense. Back out for South Dakota State, trailing by 4. Floated across the middle to Goddard, who makes another catch. And look at him drag defenders all the way to the Bison 38-yard line, and North Dakota State has had no answer for Dallas Goddard today.
Bison go to nickel, and so they have the extra defensive back, and that was just a well-executed pass. Behind Stump, the linebacker, in front of Dempsey, the safety. Big target over the middle, big gain.
Mingarelli this time swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 1. This game brought to you in high definition today by Fisher Industries. They like the tough jobs. Goddard has just been really tough for North Dakota State to manage. Even had a rushing touchdown on an end around last week.
Yeah, he's been the breakout player for South Dakota State. I know Christian has. Goddard had a good year last year. He was preseason coming into this year, but he's been tough.
Mingarelli met right away at the 40-yard line. Nice job by Pierre G. Tucker. Loss of 2. Or 3 for that matter. And G. Tucker slow getting up. So 3rd and 13 coming up.
Tell you, the Jacks have put the Bison defense in a position that NDSU's offense has done to its opponents a lot of times. As we look at it again on the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, kind of twisted, bringing him down. But that being, you're facing a number of snaps. I mean, the Jacks are forcing those guys out there. As you see people rotating in, that's a tired bunch.
Timeout, South Dakota State.
Jacks had a burn
Their
one.
first time out of the half.
Play clock was down to 4 with
timeout.
some late substitutions, so Stig burns one his first of the half.
Please reset the game clock to 6:20. 6:20 on the game clock.
Let's take a look at our trivia question brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council and North Dakota Corn Council. In 1960, each U.S. farmer fed 26 people. Today, each farmer feeds how many? The answer is 155. Here's a look at G. Tucker, who's been busy today.
And this timeout that was kind of forced at the hand that the Jacks took, I think is probably going to end up helping the Bison maybe more than the Jacks, because, you know, Tucker just got kind of rolled up and was coming up slow, and we just got done talking about how the Jacks offense is starting to wear down the Bison defense, so they get an extra couple of minutes here of a little bit of a breather before 3rd and long.
Well, South Dakota State, 5 of 11 on 3rd down today. And the Fargo Dome crowd comes to life. Trips to the high side of your screen. 3rd and 13.
4 down territory too, I think, Brian.
Christian dumps it off across the middle. Goddard on an inside screen, and Goddard, I think, has enough for a first down to the 25. Or 26, still enough.
Well, the Jacks have done a wonderful job getting Goddard as he kind of limps to the sideline a little bit in some space today. Little hitch step inside behind some of those big offensive linemen. Took a pretty good shot to his thigh, but not before 250 pounds. Picks up about 15 yards on the play.
So South Dakota State converts another 3rd and long, and now they're in business at the Bison 26. Christian fires in the flat, caught. Landberg, his first reception of the day, inside the 20-yard line. Maybe a yard short of a first down to the 17-yard line.
Holding.
But a hold.
Offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And that is
Pupangatoa.
Yeah, that's Tiano Pupangatoa,
the offensive lineman of the week from last week.
Oh boy, and that takes a 9-yard gain off the board for South Dakota State. Moves them back all the way to the Bison 36.
The Bison have been pretty aggressive in outside press coverage on the wideouts. This time playing it a little bit softer.
Wallace in motion. Christian's going to take off with it. taken down by G. Tucker after a gain of 4.
Yeah, the key to that whole thing is that Grimsrud, one of the fullbacks, tried to get a helmet on Tucker, and Pierre was not blocked. He comes off of that block and gets to the quarterback. That was well done, Pierre G. Tucker.
Nick Carr back in the game, by the way, for South Dakota State. He came off a little bit earlier. Christian floating it across the middle, double coverage, incomplete, overthrown as Matt Plank comes up limping a little bit.
Plank was the underneath man on Goddard, but safety Dempsey was right there. And Plank's going to not make it off the field.
Injury timeout.
You know, Dempsey's kind of holding the leg on that as well. Well, that just shows you cramp. Trying to stretch out a cramp probably in his calf. I tell you, Trey Dempsey is not 100% after that play either. That's how much pressure Goddard's been putting on the Bison defense today.
Now under 5 minutes to go, 3rd and 16.
What a huge hold, though. That penalty.
Yeah, that changed a lot.
There's the tail end of it. Oh, that's why Trey is limping. He got rolled up on by Goddard. And then you see something in the right leg of Plank. Kodak Mutual Insurance brings you the replays.
Plank, the junior from Gardner, Kansas. Filling some big shoes in the middle there with Nick DeLuca out for the rest of the year.
Saw Nick before the game with his shoulder harness on. It's still kind of sad to see him having to rehab that shoulder after surgery on that shoulder. Now the Bison in the nickel. They're probably in the nickel for 2 reasons. One, because he's not in. The other one is the situation calls for it.
Jacks have found a way to convert these 3rd and longs all day. They got a big one here. Christian flushed out, gonna run for it. They try to, and pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
I think that was Butler. He might have been spying a little bit on that particular play.
So 4th down and 16. What does Stig do here? Gonna go for it, I think.
Offense stays on the field.
You have to think that either Goddard or Winicky will be targeted here.
Why would you throw it anywhere else? Winicky's wide to the near side. Goddard's tight end on the left.
Goddard motions down. Christian, pocket collapsing, and this one thrown out of bounds, and there was a misread there as Landberg broke off his route, and that will be a turnover on downs for North Dakota State. That is the 5th 4th down attempt for South Dakota State today. They are 1 of 5.
On 4th and long, the Jacks elect to not go to one of their big receivers. They're both on the near side, pass to the wide side. Interesting read by Christian.
17-13, 4 minutes to go exactly from here in Fargo.
Media timeout.
Bison offense back on the field. They'll try to get a couple of 1st downs and milk the clock here.
I like the delta look, though.
Outside handoff. Frazier, not much. A yard maybe to the 32.
Well, I might have liked it, but Roseboom said not a chance. I think quarterback run is your best. It's your best play. It's been your most effective play today. And now you're at 2nd and 10.
Bison offense has not been able to string much together since that King Frazier fumble back in the 3rd quarter. Stick to throw, low but complete. Urzendowski makes the catch at the 35. Will bring up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, 3rd and long once again. That's been been a broken record here in the second half, hasn't it, for the Bison? NDSU here on the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Picked up the 4.
Bison just 69 rush yards here in the second half.
If you keep it on the ground, you just have to let your quarterback run it. It's been the best play today.
Jack showing some pressure. Stick airing it out for Shepard. And incomplete. Well defended there by Jordan Brown. And that will bring up another punting situation for North Dakota State. 3 and out.
Well, the Bison were 2 first downs away from cementing this win, and they couldn't get the first one. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, you're right. This is perfect defense, outside leverage, which is kind of where South Dakota State plays things anyway. Perfect position with your safety help inside. Pretty short window to try to get it thrown in for Stick to try to land it in there.
So Jackson Coons back out. We'll try to back up the Jacks as much as he can here. And this is a pretty good high deep punt. Lewis calls for the fair catch back at the 20.
His best one of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at our new seed fan cam today. Bison faithful hoping that NDSU can hold on here. The Jacks have to go 80 yards in the next 2 minutes.
Can the defense do it again?
South Dakota State still 2 timeouts to work with. They didn't have to use any timeouts to stop the clock there on that NDSU drive.
Yeah, you pick up that first down, and then you're right, Brian. Then you take South Dakota State's timeouts away from him. But by not picking up the first down, the Jacks have all the bullets in the gun right now, even though they've been trailing the whole game.
Christian rolling, dumping it off, trying to find Landberg on a comeback, but incomplete. Will bring up second down.
I think he was looking for Goddard first in the flat, but Goddard was covered up really well, and then it's just kind of scramble drill and work your way back to the quarterback, but Landberg just ran out of any chance to really get himself in a catchable position.
The offensive line has done a really good job of giving Taryn Christian time today. Dumps it off across the middle. That's caught by Mengarelli after a gain of 4. MJ Stump on the coverage.
Bison maybe catch a break because Tucker comes up and hits Goddard, and then G. Tucker fell down, so Goddard was running wide open.
Christian flushed out. May run with it.
Needs the 30.
And he got it. Out of bounds, too. Stop the clock with 1:57 to go and a fresh set of downs for the Jacks.
Massive difference in this situation, to state the obvious, a field goal needed or a touchdown needed. That makes a big difference here on how the Bison can play defense, especially on the Jacks' half of the field. As much yardage as Christian has gotten on the, running the ball, if he's running it, at least he's not throwing it down to one of his big play guys.
Christian trying to change things up, the play clock down to 2. He did get it off. Flag comes in on this, and this play's coming back.
Is that Menard?
Somebody shot through there.
Cut?
Maybe Tangway.
It is Nate Tangway back at the 25.
Holding, offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's on a Sorgi.
He was engaged with Nate Tangway on the play. That's where the penalty was called.
Nate walking off under his own power. So that will back up the Jacks to their own 20 now. First down. 1:50 to go.
Caleb Butler comes in, I believe, for Tangway's spot. He'll play D tackle. I don't think they marked the penalty. Oh, yeah, no. They didn't. Is this the right spot for the penalty? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Too deep safety.
Christian across the middle. Goddard makes the catch. Gets 7 yards back to the 27. Clock continues to run.
At this point of the field, there's no way the Bison safeties are going to get beat deep. They'll have to be underneath for the Jacks.
Christian dumps it off again. Mangarelli taken down. He gains about 7 more. That will bring up 3rd and 6 at the 34.
Tangway back in.
Christian gonna run with it. Picks up a first down up to the 43-yard line, and another player down. That may be Tangway again or somebody there at the 45.
No, it's not Tangway. He was actually held on the play. And
injury timeout.
Guess I can't catch the number on who that was. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Check out Tangway. He gets tackled right there. And then Christian is able to get on the field and pick up the first down. I still didn't catch the number. Oh, that's Ambrosius.
Holding that left arm a little bit as he comes off. 1:09 to go.
Big first down pickup by the Jacks as well.
Handoff. Mangarelli slowed down and then eventually finished off by Robbie Grimsley after a gain of 5. The clock will continue to run under a minute to go.
That play surprises me a bit. Goddard and Winicky again on the same side of the field.
Pressure come. And this one is caught. Goddard, how did Christian get it out of there? And out of bounds at the 36.
Yeah. Anderson with the catch on the far side on the deep out. Yep.
Thought I saw 86. It was 80. Well, that was a
nice
well-thrown ball.
That's one thing that Christian has done this year. He's put the ball, especially on his out patterns, in very catchable spots. Now the Bison safeties cannot afford to maybe play quite as soft. It'll be a little bit more aggressive on the backside of this defense.
Christian flushed. Downfield for Landberg, who came from out of bounds, so it doesn't matter. It's incomplete. 33 seconds left.
A back shoulder throw to Landberg, but he was a couple of steps out of bounds when he caught that. Christian just does a nice job of using his feet to keep the play going.
The Jacks, so many missed opportunities in Bison territory, but they still have a chance to win the game here with 33 seconds left.
Allison on Winicky. Goddard in the slot, uncovered right now.
Christian to Winicky. Makes the catch. How does he get that open at the 12?
Allison released him, playing it looked like a zone. Allison releases him deep. The window is right between the corner and the safety. And you're right, how do you get that wide open? Jacks have not needed a timeout yet.
Christian flushed again, keeping his feet moving, and then threw it behind Mangarelli out of bounds. 21 seconds to go.
Before the ball is snapped, every time you have to go, okay, where's 86? Where's number 19? I know the last time that Winicky tried to go with the fade in the deep corner, it got picked. But I still think that play is coming sometime in this series.
Chris Kleiman, I think, may have called for a timeout. He did.
Timeout, North Dakota State, their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
South Dakota State with 512 yards offensively today. 292 through the air, 220 on the ground. North Dakota State, meanwhile, 161 rush yards, 143 through the air for 304. Take a look at what the Bison have tried to do to slow down Dallas Goedert.
Well, here they just get a body on him, and that stump with a little bit of a bump and a hold. But I tell you, he's run free more than he's been contacted today. That was one of the goals of NDSU, is to try to get some physical contact on Goedert early in the play. I tell you, Goedert's had more often than not been able to avoid that. Grimsley's hedging that side, but I tell you, you got to go to Winicky, don't you?
Christian again rolling out, has time back to the end zone. Landberg, incomplete, was tied up there. It looked like Dempsey was on the coverage.
Both guys were out of bounds.
14 seconds.
No, that was McCoy.
Oh yeah, it was number 2, put McCoy in there.
That wasn't even close to being in the field. Winicky wide to the near side.
Goedert, the motion man, top of your screen.
Tucker's on Goedert.
Inside screen, Goedert still on his feet. To the 5, Goedert fighting for the end zone, and he comes up just a few yards short. And the Jacks will take a timeout with 4 seconds left. So it's all going to come down to this one play for the Dakota marker.
Timeout, South Dakota State.
See, now
please set the game clock to 5 seconds.
Tucker's guarding him, and the Jacks try to get a buddy on. See,
this is
the
South
guard,
Dakota's second timeout of the half.
The guard tries to take out care of Tucker, but there was not enough momentum for Goedert to get a big head enough Steve to get inside.
So 5 seconds are left, but it is not a first down. So
it's only one play anyway.
Yeah,
is it going to matter?
Really quick. Is it something really quick across the middle or something like that?
In my mind, Brian, and we haven't seen it yet, but I just don't know how you're going to attempt to win the football game if you're the Jacks and not give Winicky the opportunity to make a catch. We haven't seen it yet.
Ball just outside the 2-yard line. Chris Kleiman, I think, was going to call for another timeout here. If we're looking at the Jacks alignment.
Timeout, North Dakota State. Their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
That alignment put Goedert in the slot with Tucker playing off of him. Allison wide left on Winicky with Grimsley safety help.
If you look at pretty much every statistical category, South Dakota State is dominating, except on the scoreboard.
The one stat that matters the most. You saw the Coach Kleiman take his headset off to get some instructions to McCoy, playing corner, and now Coach Kleiman still talking with him.
So South Dakota State a chance.
And the Jacks come out with a similar looking formation.
Quarterback run at times has been effective here for the Jacks. Fade, back shoulder, caught, touchdown, Winicky.
Had to. You absolutely had to give him an opportunity to make a play for you.
With 1 second to go in the football game, Winicky, the money man, comes up with the play.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Winicky creates a little space for himself, and it's such a tough spot if you're Allison. Do I need to guard? against the back shoulder, against the little stop route, or the fade. Little stop route. It took him to the last play of the drive. I kept wondering, when is it going to happen? When is Christian going to go to his main man outside? And he didn't do it till the last play of the drive.
And the Jackrabbit faithful here at the Fargo Dome, jubilant. Now there is 1 second left, so the football game not totally over, but boy, South Dakota State finding a way. "14 plays, 80 yards in just over 2.5 minutes. And the Bison fans are stunned.
We talked about it, Brian. We talked about how, yeah, the Bison have the lead, but hey, the Jacks are in a pretty good position here. And South Dakota State did an excellent job. And the reason you take the knee here on the extra point is that there's an opportunity, if you block a kick or something, to run it all the way back for a 2-point conversion, and that eliminates that. That's why you saw Christian just take the knee and then you run to the sideline to kick it, because if you're South Dakota State and you just took the lead, you don't want something goofy to happen on a block kick to give up 2 points to tie it.
So the Bison will have to pull a rabbit out of their hat here with 1 second left to pull off a miracle in Fargo.
Your most dangerous kick returner on the team. You saw him earlier with a boot on his ankle, walking off.
And outside of that opening drive touchdown by North Dakota State in the second half, they were unable to muster a whole lot of anything. This one is going to be bounced up, board. Tried to fall down, but there's not enough time, I don't think. And is that the football game or not?
The clock didn't run.
The receiver had possession of the ball when he was standing. Then he went to the ground. 1 second must come off the clock. The game is over.
So South Dakota State has ended the drought for the Dakota marker. And for the first time since 2009, the Jacks can hoist the rock.
The previous play is under further review.
They're going to review it just to make sure that he was up when he caught it, but be tough to put the genie back in the bottle, because right now they've got a hand on the rock.
And they are going to look it over here on a fantastic football team between two very good football programs. The Jacks and the Bison.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The game is over.
It was South Dakota last year that came into the Fargo Dome and ended a long losing streak in Fargo. And today it's the Jackrabbits from Brookings doing the same, handing the Bison their first loss in 2016.
You know, the Bison offense had the opportunity to pick up a couple of first downs and end the game. Couldn't get the first down, had to turn the ball back over.